I think one of the big things men have to learn to do is to listen to women. Because if you're hanging out with women who are in touch with their intuition, I think there are a few things stronger as guides in the world. In my own experience, some of the biggest decisions I've ever had to make have been prompted by women, and by listening to paying attention to women. This whole patriarchal society structure that we've developed is one of our biggest issues today, and the biggest things we have to deal with. I mean, I can still remember when my first memory of my love affair with music really kind of clicking in, which was with lyrics in particular when I was about 8 years old. I think it was about that. I just rate how high the countertop was next to me, and I was about the same height as it. So, and I was listening to Cat Stevens and his song Sad Lisa, and I just couldn't believe where he sings the part, her eyes like windows trickling rain upon her pain getting deeper, and like this, I was standing there and I just couldn't believe that he was trying to talk about these things, and I was like, he's talking about someone crying, but he's talking about a window and about the rain at the same time, and her eyes are like the rain and like the window, and I just like was blown away. I can remember it being such a shock to me that he could create these images in my head that I didn't really understand, but that felt powerful. And so from then it was just a matter of time before I started learning the songs, where I would start to try. Once I became frustrated if I couldn't sing along to the whole song. If I didn't know all the words, it was like edgy for me, you know, if I enjoyed a song. So the first song I learned to sing off by heart was Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. First one ever, and I was so proud when I could sing along from the start to the finish. I knew all the words. But folk tells the story of the people, and for me that's the most interesting. I feel like a people, like one of the people. And so for me, I want to hear music and sing music which communicates the universal stories that we all have going on. Because I feel like as much a storyteller as a musician, and I feel like we're all storytellers in our own rights. And sometimes when people tell me something, an experience they've had, my response is, wow, that's a really good story. And people are like, but it really happened. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not denying that it happened. It's still a really good story. Life is just one big story, a bunch of different stories happening all the time. So I just appreciate good stories. But as a professional musician, since the beginning of this year, my first festival was White Mountain, which was a few weeks ago. And I first heard about White Mountain about 2 years ago or so through one of my friends, Joshua Grierson. And I was living in England at the time, and he told me about it, and I looked at it online, and I was like, this is just so beautiful. It sounds so much like my kind of festival, a folk festival in the northern Drakensberg Mountains, and it ignited my imagination, you know. Obviously I thought Drakensberg, and then I think Dragons Mountains, and it's all like just fantastical. And so I applied to play this year, and Pedro, who organizes that, and also Splashy Fen, he said yes. And so that inspired me to run a whole tour, which I'm currently on. It's the 6-week tour around South Africa, done Gauteng, Joburg, Pretoria, Durban, Newcastle, the Garden Route, and White Mountain. And White Mountain was like almost like something. It's like I've been climbing a mountain this whole year, and White Mountain was the pinnacle. And the fact that I reached the pinnacle and doesn't mean that I now have to like. It's almost like it's a mountain that doesn't come down again, in a sense, you know, where I've been working so hard the last 6 months to promote myself and to work on my songs, and I recorded my album, and I've been trying to promote that and get the word out to as many people, play as many gigs, and as doing it full time, obviously I'm trying to make money, and so it's like all these things I've been doing, and I felt like everything was driving towards White Mountain. And so when I arrived there and I played my first gig at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and straight afterwards sold 32 albums. Like literally got off the stage and there was like a massive line of people waiting to buy albums. It just felt like, and the response of the crowd, just when I was up there, I just felt them. I felt they were with me, and we were doing this together, and there was this real like interplay of energies, and I could feel that it was okay, that it was all, that I was doing the right thing. And it just felt like, I felt my confidence in myself just settle. It was like the settling of everything, just kind of, I felt myself stepping into myself, and I was okay where I was. And this is a strange thing for me to say, but I've always felt like more of a vocalist and a lyricist than a guitarist. People are always saying to me, wow, you play guitar so well, but I feel like I play guitar and I love doing it, but I do it because I need something to sing with. So I've been writing a blog for the last quite a few months, and it's basically just natemaingard.com, and I write about all my experiences being a musician, obviously, and while I'm on tour I'm writing about the experiences I'm having, and I'm kind of hoping that it's going to inspire people to realize that dreams are only dreams. Dreams only remain dreams because we don't bring them into reality. So for me it was like, as soon as I committed to music 100%, a bunch of stuff happened where I found a studio and a guy who would master my album, and I recorded, and I found tours and I found gigs, and it was just like, because it was everything that I had to do, including my income, had to come from my music, I committed 100% to it. And so I'm writing this blog as a sort of visual history of my journey as an independent musician, and as an independent human, really, more than anything. As someone who refuses to believe that I need to be afraid of what the world has to offer me, which I think is what we're taught a lot of the time. To my love, like a soldier holds his gun in the last hour of the war. Now it's over. I hold on to my time, like a sailor holds his breath in the last moment of life. Now it's over. To be right, and I've tried so hard to be just like you, being just like me, to be just like you. I dreamed I was awake in a time when dreams were sacred. I dreamed I was alive. Am I alive? I dreamed I was a snake in a time when you stood naked. I dreamed that I survived, and I survived. But I've tried so hard to be right, and I've tried so hard to be right, and I've tried so hard to be just like you, just like you, being just like me, to be just like you. Out our secrets in the hope that we'll be heard, 'cause if no one is listening, then this all seems absurd. It's not our fault the angels couldn't find a way home. Not my fault this angel rests each night alone. And I have tried so hard to be right, and I've tried so hard to be right, and I've tried so hard to be just like you, just like you, being just like me, to be just like you. I hold on to my love, just like